Howdy guys, it's Floppy the Rat, and I am kinda sick. And I've been sick since last Friday, and I've had to miss 2 days of school, and I mean, you guys may think that would have meant I uploaded more, but you're wrong, I've uploaded a lot less. And combined with the fact I'm still getting used to my new animation program, I'm taking a whole lot longer to get my work done. But my work's gonna be a whole lot better than normal, so I guess you can say that it's worth the wait. Alright, so you guys remember that video that I made a long time ago, Floppy and different AUs? Yeah, so I'm basically gonna be doing a explanation OC AU backstory in this video, and I decided to do Flower AU for a few reasons. Alright, so the first reason is I feel like it has a pretty interesting backstory. All of them do, but this one's probably my favorite. And two, my friends at school and me, we all have to say that Flower AU is definitely our favorite. And I've actually come up with a name for it, FlowerTail. And don't think it's an Undertale AU, it's not. It doesn't have really anything to do with Undertale. I mean, I don't even think Sans really exists in these AUs, so yeah. And it's not spelled tail as an Undertale, but tail as in Floopy's tail. She has a tail because she's a Nikojin. And, like, her subspecies is my own original subspecies, Dreamix. But we're getting off topic, so yeah, all of them, it's like, the original is Floopy tail, Edge tail, Flower tail, Hacked tail, all that stuff. So let's get into the video. Alright, so almost all of the AUs have something to do with a war, and most of them involve different outcomes after the war. So in this one, you know, the war happened, it had lots of chemical weapons, like mass destruction, you know, that kind of stuff. But, instead of killing or almost killing everyone, the chemicals, like, reacted to the flowers in the area in a very strange way. And all of the surviving creatures, all of their wounds were healed by flowers. So basically flowers grew off of their wounds and healed them. And it kind of made them a bit stronger. So they could continue living. A lot of species died out, even if some of them were strong enough to survive the initial war. Either A, they were allergic to the flowers, and as those flowers started growing off of them, it started to slowly kill them because they're allergic to the flowers. And if something that you're allergic is forming out of, if you're allergic to something and it's basically being created out of your body and forming out in my OC's universe, it's a very slow and painful death. Alright, so after this, basically some creatures took charge. And a lot of them were Quayas, which is what my OC CXC is. And I have a couple other ones. And there's one which I've came up with a name for. It's XZY. And he is basically an edgelord. He's a Quayas, but he's an edgelord Quayas. And basically a bunch of flowers started growing on him, and they were some poisonous flowers. So now basically everyone has to listen to him, or else he's gonna kill you. He will kill you. Alright, so after XYZ, not XZY, I'm sorry, I missaid it. After he took control, either all of the remaining surviving creatures, like, I guess it was like a 50-50, some went to go live under his rule and, you know, serve for him, and others just rushed off and basically hid in caverns, because all of the plants and chemicals and stuff, a lot of plants had basically dug deep holes into the ground and everywhere, into mountains, but the plants were so strongly rooted that you couldn't get them out. But after the chemicals, you know, spilled everywhere and they started to attach to people, a lot of those started to either wilt away or give most of their energy to other plants so that they can fuse with all the remaining creatures, and they ended up dying. Floopy is one of them that decided to go with everyone else to the caverns, and She is very, very kind in this AU. She doesn't have any bit of a temper at all. She's very sweet and loving. She's also extremely shy and scared of everything, even more scared than everything that normal Floofy is. Like, if you hear like a pebble dropping in the caverns, which is very common, she will send Nikojins, my subspecies Dreamix. They have elemental powers. She can basically coat herself in ice as a defense mechanism. Basically, FlowerTail Floofy will do this literally at the slightest like sound. Like, I guess the best thing you can say is at the drop of a penny. Like, she will freak out and freeze herself as a defense mechanism. Alright, so I would say that the war in this AU would have happened about when Floofy, I guess when she would be 7. Yeah, she'd be 7. And once XYZ took over, I would say that that's about when she was, I think exactly on her 9th birthday, that's when he took over. Yeah, that's going to be it. Exactly on her 9th birthday, that's when he took over. So she's been living out in the caverns for pretty much the rest of her life. So that'd be 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. Floofy's 12, by the way. She's 12. Alright, so I guess you guys can know a little bit about the caverns. So basically, everyone there works together to, like, harvest food. Since, you know, everyone who survived is basically, they can't eat any type of meat because everything else has died off. Or, yeah, it's died off or already been killed by XYZ and his kingdom. So they have to grow plants. And one thing is, anytime someone dies, which, to be honest, isn't too common now, or isn't too uncommon, like, whether they be roaming around XYZ's kingdom, the borders, or just somebody dies of some natural cause or, like, sickness, they can eat the plants that were growing off of them, and then the body will basically disintegrate into, like, flower petals and nutrients for other plants to grow. Kinda morbid, I know, but they have to eat, and I decided, yeah, why not make it a little bit more edgier than it already is. Alright, so I guess you guys can learn a little bit more about, I guess, the creatures that survived and the creatures that died. So, if you guys didn't know, in my OC's universe, most of the humans are elemental mages or have an extremely strong will to live, because humans aren't very common in her universe. They're either Nikojins, anthropomorphic animals, you know, creatures like Quayas is Quayas? Yeah, I think that'd be the right word. And, you know, normal animals, but a lot of the humans died off. So, yeah. Now, in FlowerTail, doesn't matter what you were, it's a very, very minimal number of humans. Like, originally there were a few hundred. Now, in FlowerTail, there's a total of, like, 20 humans across the entire planet. So imagine basically only 20 people on Earth. Yeah, that's FlowerTail right there. Alrighty, so as you guys just heard me mention, there are a lot of anthropomorphic animals. So most of the anthropomorphic animals, like cats, rabbits, you know, those kind of delicate animals, they died. They didn't make it. Either due to lack of food, as in any carnivore's case, or just the fact that they weren't strong enough, like rabbits, guinea pigs, that kind of thing. But animals like ferrets, birds, and merpups or merkits, which they are my own original species. Alright, so they had a very good chance of surviving. Ferrets, because they are very strong hunters, they're just strong animals in general. Birds, because they're aerial and they kind of, a lot of the chemicals didn't really hit them. I mean, the numbers have definitely dwindled, but a lot of them still survived with only like a few leaves growing off of them. There are some that actually don't have any plant products on them at all, so they're pretty lucky. And anything in the water, I mean, the worst thing that happened is that some lily pads and vines grew over the water, so they had to clear that out, and they got, like, a few aquatic, like, plants on them. Maybe a few plants that grew near the lake, you know, kind of formed onto them, but that's about the worst that happened. Alrighty, and finally, house pets, like normal cats, normal dogs, that kind of stuff. So, pretty much all of them died off, except, once again, aerial animals and some underground animals. Very, very small amount. There are some mice running around with, like, a leaf growing off of their ear or tail. There are some birds with, like, a small flower on their back. But everyone else, it's not like they got, like, a freaking flower on their eye like Floppy, or, like, their tail is like a giant vine or anything. No, they're dead. I mean, they might have gotten the plants to go onto them, but it's very likely that they were probably plants that either had too strong of, I guess, magical properties, because a lot of the flowers in Floopy's AU, or universe, has magical properties, and they killed the animal, or, just like the normal world, they were plants that were toxic to them, and it just ended up killing them. That kind of stuff. And if they were carnivores, they weren't able to find food, and, you know, that kind of stuff. It could have just been a poisonous flower like, XYZ got. But who knows, to be honest. Alright, so basically, if you guys are wondering, hey, what happens to the flower petals? Well, you know, they just kind of float off, if you guys didn't catch the drift. Get it? Drift? Because the flower petals drift off? And basically dust from the killed or dead creature disintegrates into the ground and makes more nutrients. But those petals, they are not forgotten. They're very special. They always, it's like how birds know to fly south. They somehow float to the, like, a place. It was originally just a giant dying tree, but as more and more creatures died as they were getting the flowers on them, flower petals covered in this dust went to the tree, and it started to heal the tree, and now this tree is very strong and powerful. It's got some magic elements due to all the dead magical creatures, and it's giving off lots of food, and it's surrounded by a huge freaking lake. Like, you will die trying to swim in it. You will drown. You will die from exhaustion, and you'll drown. So, yeah, that's why no one's gotten to it. And also, it's basically surrounded by a bunch of mountains, and it's in a deep freaking valley, so it's very hard to get to. So, don't really count on getting to it if you're in FlowerTail. Alrighty, guys, I'm sorry for such a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Know that next episode of these, which I'll do, I'm actually making sprites right as I'm making this video. I'm drawing some sprites up. So you guys should have some sprites. You guys should have some examples of characters. Like, I should be able to show up, like, full references of characters, you know, like, I guess if we ever do, like, I guess a good example would be FlowerTail, like, flower placement on Floopy and my other OCs. I guess just nice little doodles to go in the background so you guys don't get bored by just, like, speed paints or just images there for, like, 10 hours straight. But that kind of stuff. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video once again. I love you all so much. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I will see you all later.